Hello and welcome to another live English lesson here at AM Language with me, Richie. I hope you're all doing well. It is a Thursday. It's the 14th of January. So I wish everyone well. And yeah, today we are looking at reading skills. And we are going to look at how you guys can build paragraphs coherently. Arena F, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. I would like to say, by the way, that as always, please make sure you follow us in the live chat section as well. And if you want to find out how you can have live lessons in Malta, make sure you click on the links below. Now, I haven't done this before, but if you want me to shout out anything, let's say maybe it's a person's birthday, a friend's birthday, or your birthday, just let me know in the live comments, and I will shout out happy birthday to you. And if it's anyone's birthday today who is watching, happy birthday. Roberto, hi Richie, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Roberto. Welcome to today's lesson. I hope you're doing well. Leondina, hi, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Buon pomeriggio. So, Leondina, Roberto, Arena F, thank you very much for being the first ones here. I won't wait too long before getting into it. We have a good lesson here today. I mean, yesterday we looked at writing skills, and in the writing skills section, we were looking at how we can improve our ability to use articles, punctuation, and coherence, building sentences that make sense. And today's lesson in our reading activities, we are going to look at the same thing in the sense of coherence. Now, when we look at reading activities, the way we understand things when we read, we can easily take and transfer into our written skills. And that is part of the goal today. Now, I'm going to try and do an activity. I haven't tried it before, but I think it will work in the way I plan to do it, but I have to be careful how much I throw at you at once. So I have a nice long paragraph, but I can't throw all of it at you. What we need to do is we need to try and build the paragraph. So I'm going to give you little bits of the paragraph, so you guys can then think of, okay, how does this go here? Does this go here? So if you do have a pen and paper, I do recommend that you use it. I will number each one, so you don't have to write down the whole thing. You can write sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3. Evelina, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you're doing well. Now, you might think, oh, but is this going to be difficult? I don't think it will be too difficult. I think it will be okay. I think whether you are a weak student or a strong student, there will be something for you. No question, there will be something for you. So I'm going to give you an example of how this activity is going to work, and then we will go from there. So I'm going to start off by just sharing, I'll probably just start off by sharing just a couple of sentences, and that way it should give you an idea of how this is going to work. So let's go with this idea, okay? Ba-ba-bum. Oops. Okay, I'll go again. So we've got, for now, I'll do A. Let's go with this. B. And we'll go with the last one over here. C. So what we can see here are three sentences, okay? We've got A, the street was dark and it had been raining. We then got sentence B, Jane was walking home when she heard soft footsteps behind her. And C, at first she didn't think too much of it and walked without worrying. Oh, sorry. And walked without worrying about it. The trick here is to decide, okay, right, what is the correct sequence between A, B, and C? Now you might read this and say, does it go? Can I say this? A, B, C, is it in the right order? The street was dark and it had been raining. Jane was walking home when she heard soft footsteps behind her. At first, she didn't think too much of it and walked without worrying about it. So you might think that's the correct answer, in which case you would then say answer is going to be A, B, C. However, you might then read this again and say, I don't know. What if I went with B first? Jane was walking home when she heard soft footsteps behind her. The street was dark and it had been raining. At first, she didn't think too much of it and walked without worrying about it. You might decide that it's BAC. But then you might read it again and you might think to yourself, what if it was BCA? Jane was walking home when she heard soft footsteps behind her. At first, she didn't think too much of it and walked without worrying about it. The street was dark and it had been raining. So you might then decide that the answer is in fact B, C, and A. Good afternoon, Alida. Welcome to today's lesson and thank you for joining. Now, what we have to think about here is, in some cases, there could be more than one right sequence. Sequence is the order of the sentences. Sometimes there might be no change in terms of the way things work. It could sound good in all three different ways that you could look at it. Other times you might think, no. There's only one way these sentences are going to make sense together. Now, the correct answer here is actually the actual correct answer, okay, here, in terms of what is written, is B, C, and A. That is the correct answer in terms of the way it was written. However, if you went with A, B, C, it would still make sense. Okay, but this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a few sentences at a time, and you guys then need to try and think of the order. As we go along, this will become a little bit more difficult because you have to think what came before. Everything needs to link. Sorry, I'm yawning. I need some water. I don't know why I'm yawning. Okay. So that's the way this works. Let's have a go. I'm going to give you some more sentences here. They're all going to be part of the same story, but you need to try and put them together. So let's have a little go. Any vocabulary that we can look at, we will look at later. Okay, so let's go with actually, I'm not going to give you necessarily the whole sentence either sometimes, because otherwise I think we'll go too quickly. So let's have a little go. So number one, well, actually ABC, so we're going to go with D actually. So here you can see that you don't have the full sentence. So we'll have to think about that. One more. Okay, so we've got up to G here. You got D, E, F, and G. So we've got D. The footsteps didn't sound close, even though she couldn't hear the sound of small splashes behind her as the. So that's an incomplete sentence there. E. Heard the footsteps quicken and the splashes of the puddles became more aggressive. F. However, she began to feel uncomfortable when she, and then G, footsteps walked through the puddles. So you've got 4 options there that make up 2 whole sentences. You guys now need to try and put them into the correct order. You need to decide which sentence comes first and which sentence comes second. Remember, it has to make sense with what came before. So we need to remember that the last sentence, okay, the last sentence here is with A, okay, so that was the sentence before, okay, so the sentence before was A, so the street was dark and it had been raining. Okay, so Roberto has gone in here with DGFE, so we can then read that. Let's see. The street was dark and it had been raining. The footsteps didn't sound close. Okay, so we can automatically see how that might work. And Alida has come in with the same answers. So has Arena F, DGF, DGF, and E at the end. Okay, so what we can do is, Leondina, okay, so all of you agree that this is going to be the case. Well, let's see if this works. We're going to put everything in order here, including the one before, and we'll see if this works. So we've got, first we're going to have A. You guys are then, all of you are saying D. Then you are saying G. Then you are saying F. Hi, Martha. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. And we are looking at reading skills here, putting sentences together to make the paragraph. Okay, so now let's read this. We've got A. The street was dark and it had been raining. The footsteps didn't sound close, even though she couldn't hear the sound of small splashes behind her as the footsteps walked through the puddles. However, she began to feel uncomfortable when she heard the footsteps quicken and the splashes of the puddles became more aggressive. Okay. Very good. Looking good. And yeah, that is the correct answer. So well done, guys. Correct. Okay. But it means now we're going from E. So with the next lot, we need to think about this. Okay. Okay. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. J and K. Okay, so remember we have to go from E here. So we've got H, whilst listening for the footsteps behind her. I, but she still couldn't see anyone. J, she turned to see who was behind her. K, she decided to quicken the pace of her own footsteps. Let's see what you guys are going to go with. Don't forget, you have to start off with E, the last combination. Okay, so you're going to have to go from F and E. Leondina says the answer is JIKH. Okay, we'll see if you're right there, Leondina. Alida's come in with JIKH as well. Okay, so you guys seem to be agreeing with each other. Arena F says that she agrees as well. Okay. Before I give the answer, we'll just remind ourselves of the whole thing, of where we've got to. Marta Poggio says yes. She agrees as well. Okay. So we've got, because this always helps to make sure that we remember everything as we go along. Evelina agrees, it's JIKH, and Roberta agrees as well. So you're all in agreement over here. So in the sentence before, we had F and E. We had F and we had E. So you guys are saying first J. Well, let's see if that works. So you're saying it's J, I, K, and H. And H. Okay, well, let's see how this reads. Does this seem to be correct? So, however, she began to feel uncomfortable when she heard the footsteps quicken and the splashes of the puddles became more aggressive. She turned to see who was behind her, but she still couldn't see anyone. She decided to quicken the pace of her own footsteps whilst listening for the footsteps behind her. Okay, well, I've got to say, I am impressed. Very well done, guys. That is correct. Okay, so well done. Well, so far, you guys are doing really well. So I'm going to have to make the next one just a little bit harder because you guys are doing really well today. So, how shall we do this? I think I'm going to break this up into even smaller bits. Okay. Yeah, okay, right. This last one is going to be the hardest one. You guys are doing really well, so I'm going to have to make this a lot harder. Oh. Mm. Okay, so you got LMNOPQR. Let's see how you guys do. So instead of just having the standard 4, you've just got a little bit more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you've got 3 extras here to try and put them together. Okay, we do really need to, of course, we need to remember that we're starting off from K and H. So make sure that we have that in there. We're starting from K and H in order for this to work. Okay, and what we're doing here is that this is really where you guys are producing the connections in your own mind. You're having to think about, okay, which one makes most sense. It's like a jigsaw. This one here, so you've got L, her imagination began. M, she looked behind. N, to run when she. O, to wonder who was behind her. P, and what they wanted from her. Q, saw a dark figure in a coat with a hat. R, her shoulder again, and she felt the need. Okay. So this is definitely the hardest one out of all of them, but we've come to the end of this first section here. And you guys were doing really well, so I decided to make this last section just a little bit harder. The bit that's going to be quite hard is if you're trying to link one part of the sentence to another, and you know that you've got like an infinitive there. For example, that's going to make it a little bit harder. So let's see how you guys do. Hopefully I haven't made it too hard, but before I thought maybe I was making it too easy. Oop. Okay. And then we'll actually look at the whole thing again, and we can then sort of do a little bit of word building. Well, not word building, but exercise in terms of extracting vocabulary, how to bring vocabulary to life when trying to describe something. Well, you're all taking a bit longer, so that means I'm happy with that. I'm happy that you guys are taking a bit longer over this one. It definitely is harder. And then at the end, we will see what the correct answers are. Okay. So Leondina has come in with MRNOLO. Oh, sorry, MRNQLOP. Alida's gone for something slightly different. LOPMRNQ. Okay, well, we'll see if you guys are correct. So Leondina's gone with, let's see, she looked behind her shoulder again, and she felt the need to run when she saw a dark figure in a coat with a hat. Her imagination began to wonder who was behind her and what they wanted from her. Okay, so that was Leondina's answer. Alida's gone for something slightly different. She's gone with her imagination began to wonder who was behind her and what they wanted from her. She looked behind her shoulder again, and she felt the need to run when she saw a dark figure in the coat with a hat. Okay, right, interesting. So different order there. We'll see if both of them could work. There is one definite answer, obviously, but we'll see if there are any, if the the different orders could still make sense. Irina F says that she agrees with Leondina. Okay, I'm going to leave this a little bit longer to see if anyone else would like to come in. Maybe Marta, Poggio, Evelina, Roberto. Maybe they're still trying to decide what the correct order is here with the last one. As always, guys, we need to remember we need to go from where we were before. So she decided to quicken the pace of her own footsteps whilst listening for the footsteps behind her. So that's really important. And then, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the correct answer is in a bit. I'm going to give you guys just a bit more. Okay, so Marta Poggio agrees. Do you mean that you agree with Leondina or that you agree with Alida, Marta? Evelina says that she agrees with Leondina. Okay. I'll give it another 30 seconds and then I'll show you what the correct answer is. But we will have a look at the possible other answer as well. Okay, so Marta Poggio says that she agrees with Alina. Okay, I think that's meant to be Alida. Okay, so we're a bit divided here. Some agree with Alida and some agree with Leondina. So let's see what the correct answer is. So we've got, again, let's just remind ourselves of what came before. Always helps. Okay, so then we are going to go with M. She looked behind. Okay, so nope, that's not the correct one. Wait a minute. Cancel that. It's not the correct one. Leo. Okay, so I deleted the wrong one. Okay, there we go. Right, I was getting confused where I was. Okay, so we actually are going to start with L, her imagination. Okay, so her imagination began to, where is it? Oh. Oh, began to wonder who was behind her. Okay, so that's the first bit. Then we're going to move on to P and what they wanted from her. Now we're going to move on to she. So M. She looked behind. Where is it? Ah, she looked behind her shoulder. Again. She looked behind her shoulder again and she felt the need. Oh, no, N. To run. When she saw Q, a dark figure in a hat. So the answer as it was written was LOPMRNQ. So she decided to quicken the pace of her own footsteps whilst listening for the footsteps behind her. Her imagination began to wonder who was behind her and what they wanted from her. She looked behind her shoulder again, and she felt the need to run when she saw a dark figure in a coat with a hat. Okay, so Marta says, then we were wrong. Well, it's all about what flows from the next one. So I think the person who got this one right, Alida, well done. I think your answers there were correct. However, let's consider the alternative option. Okay, let's consider the alternative option. So if we look at the alternative option, it's kind of just the other way round a little bit, where we would say um, she decided to quicken the pace of her own footsteps whilst listening for the footsteps behind her. She looked behind her shoulder again, and she felt the need to run when she saw a dark figure in a coat with a hat. Her imagination began to wonder who was behind her and what they wanted from her. Well, my point is going to be this, okay? Now, the official correct answer is this, okay? This is the official, okay? This is the official correct answer, okay? I'm just going to put answer one, which is L O P M R N and Q. So that's the, oh, what did I get wrong there? I did something wrong. L O, that's what I'm missing. That's the official correct answer. However, what I'm pleased with is you still started the next sentence with the thing that would still make sense. So if you have gone for M, R, N, Q, L, and O, and then P, I think that's not too bad. Okay, Marta, not to worry. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Thank you for letting me know. So if you have gone for this answer, it still works. It still can make a little bit. It still makes sense. I don't think the flow of the thing. I don't think the flow of the text is too badly interrupted. Because either way, you had to start with either L or M in order to make the connection. However, all the other connections needed to link up as well. So if you did put M, R, N, Q, L, O, and P, don't worry. I think that still actually works in reality. I think it still makes sense. The important thing is that if you started with M or if you started with L, the rest had to follow in a sense that would actually make sense. So well done there, and well done to everybody. So we're now going to look at the next bit, which is to do with a little bit of language. Okay. Now, what I would like you guys to do for me is this. We've got some interesting language here. So let's see. Soft footsteps. We've got B. And let's go with one more. C. Okay, language. in this sense. You've got soft footsteps. You've got was dark and it had been raining. You've got as the footsteps walked through the puddles. What are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at something called word collocation, in the sense of how do we bring something to life, okay, that we can then apply to our own writing. The first thing we need to think about is when you're going to go with an adjective, okay, in the case of A, okay, you've got your adjective plus noun, okay. Notice here that the type of adjective obviously is going to describe the noun. So we have to think carefully in terms of the adjective is what's going to bring is what's going to really bring things to life when we are trying to write. So if you are doing any creative writing in English, you need to think of the adjective that's going to bring it to life. B, again, it's the same sort of thing. I mean, this is an interesting bit of language, actually, because what has happened here is for B, you've got this past continuous. So you've got you've got a combination of a past simple plus a past perfect continuous, a really interesting bit of language connection, okay? So, for instance, it was dark and it had been raining, okay? A nice little bit of language there. And finally, what we have over here in C, you're describing an action as it happens, as the footsteps walk through the puddles. This here is a classic bit of when you're trying to describe action as it happens, as the footsteps walk through the puddles. The important language here is as. Okay, so if you are going to go with as is used when you want to describe something as it happens. Okay, such as what's the full sentence actually with that one? Here we go. So when we look at the whole sentence, it really comes alive. She could hear the sound of small splashes behind her as the footsteps walked through the puddles. A really nice way of trying to describe language. Now, we don't have long left, but I'm going to give you a challenge, and you guys can choose one of the three challenges, okay? Alida says, also whilst or while, yep, we could use that as well. It's good language that can sort of interchange in that sense, good synonyms. So I'm going to give you three challenges, and I would like you to just pick one of the challenges. I'd like you to pick the one that you feel most comfortable with, depending on your level. So number one, create a sentence with the structure of adjective plus noun, okay? Or create a couple of sentences. Option two, see if you can create a past simple, this is the hardest one, plus past perfect continuous. And number three, describe an action as it happens, starting with the word as. Okay, so those are your three types of sentences that you can create. Have a go at trying to create a sentence according to either 1, 2, or 3, depending on your level. You've got three examples but above you. So you've got, for example, soft footsteps. That would be an example of number 1. You've got It was dark and it had been raining. That would be an example for number 2. That could be quite difficult. And number 3, as the footsteps walked through the puddles. That's an example of 3 where you're describing an action as it happens, and you need to start with the word as. Okay. The part of your sentence that you're going to write needs to start with as. So as this was happening, or as the footsteps, what was it again? Actually, as the footsteps walked through the puddles. So let's see what you guys come out with, trying to create your own version of a sentence of 1, 2, and 3. Pick the one that you think is of that's not going to be too easy and might challenge you. It's a little bit harder. Number 2 is going to be very difficult. I don't expect everybody to suddenly come out with 2, but some of you who feel confident might be able to. If you're an elementary student, have a go at trying to create number 1. If you're intermediate, have a go at trying to create 3. Okay, try and write a sentence in 3. A leader said, "I felt scared since the noise had been sounding all night." Really, really close. I think there's a lot of good. That's a really good attempt. I felt scared since the noise had been sounding all night. Okay, I'm going to say that is correct. However, I'm just wondering about sounding. Is that the best verb we could use in this situation? I'm going to say no, because sounding in this case, sounding typically is going to be either an adjective or a noun. I'm going to say, Alida, see if you can think of a different. Choose a different word other than sounding. See if you can think of a slightly different word, and then you would have definitely got the tick there. I'll have a little think as well. I felt scared since the noise had been. I mean, it's a good bit of language, I suppose. Had been. It depends what sort of atmosphere and feeling you want to create as well. In terms of the structure that we're going for, I'd encourage you to think of a different word other than sounding. Having said that, I mean, there's a lot of things about it. The meaning is very clear. Very, very clear. Roberto says, "I saw a very interesting movie at the cinema yesterday. I went to the doctor yesterday because I had felt from the start." Fell. You're thinking of fell, Roberto, not felt. That's the part of feel. Fell. Fell from the stairs the day before. As I was going to school this morning, a bus splashed water from a puddle onto me, or on me. Okay. Very good. That's what I would say there, by the way. Just those 2 mistakes. I've thought of how I would write your sentence, Alida. That's how I would finish your sentence, Alida. I felt scared since the noise had been filling the room all through the night. That's how I would personally finish your sentence. But a really good attempt, though, Alida. Nicely done. So I'm going to give you a big thumbs up. Roberto, likewise, well done. A big thumbs up to your sentences. Good stuff. So I'd like to thank everybody who participated in today's lesson. Roberto, Alida, Marta Poggio, Evelina, Irina F, Leondina. Leondina says she felt melancholic as the song had been playing. Okay, yeah, I think that works quite well. Good sentence, Leondina. Nicely worded. So yes, I think that's everyone who participated in the live chat section. Anyone else who's been watching, thank you very much as well. Have a good evening as well, Evelina. So make sure you like the video and subscribe if you are new. Richard, have a nice evening and thanks. You're welcome, Marina F. Alida says, thanks, Richie. See you soon. You're welcome, Alida. Thank you very much. I'll be back, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, guys, at the same time. And the lesson I have planned for tomorrow is Netflix English. Okay, so that should be fun. Leondina, you're welcome. Thank you very much. And Roberto, you too. Take care. Thank you very much. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.